There are thousands of DOS games. Most of them are terrible. I play one selected at random with a 20-minute time limit and record it live. This is the result. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another random DOS game show about a Tommy's Toys game. That's right, there's 3 of us doing this currently, and I'm the one who still lands on the Tommy's Toys games, for some inexplicable reason. So, Tommy's Toys are a series of ASCII-based, very, very cheap, and usually very poor scatterware where they've just decided, this one person, presumably called Tommy, to make a whole pile of games in a quantity over quality approach. I think there's over 200 of them. And that means, unfortunately, because of the sheer number, we're going to run into them more than other games. So, press spacebar to begin, I guess. This is Tommy's Silo. So, difficulty level 1. And let's play. So, you've got a sort of missile command-like game here, where you have to type in what is appearing on the screen in order to fire a missile and keep the opposition at bay. So you can see what's happening. I am literally typing. All right, so you don't have to worry about upper and lower case in the lower levels. I don't know if that changes in the upper levels. But because I'm a fairly proficient typer with a fancy new mechanical cherry keyboard, I'm doing okay. Does this go on indefinitely? Is it just gonna keep ramping up in difficulty until it overwhelms me? Imagine that, me being overwhelmed by the poorness of a Tommy's Toys game. You'd never see that on this show. See, they're really starting to ramp up here. And that's the problem with a lot of these games which require a degree of concentration. It's difficult to talk about them at the same time. I did one a while back where it was Grand Prix, and I just had to turn on a pile of driving aids because it was like physically impossible for me without a wheel, to really give a good accounting of what was going on because I was too busy trying not to crash. In this case, I'm doing okay because I'm focusing on the letters and nothing's got past me yet. But I mean, when you've typed millions of words, it does make a difference. I remember going to an office recently and the person in question, they said, can you type in your username and password? And I did it, and they were like, "What?" I was I just typed it in, I had to make a big fuss or deal about it. And they were like, "How did you do that?" And I was like, "How did I do what?" And they were like, "You didn't look at the keyboard." And I was like, "So?" When you type enough, you just naturally know the position of where the keys are. It's called touch typing. But apparently this was some arcane art to this person. And they said, I still have to use my fingers. As in, one finger at a time. So, what is taken for granted by a lot of people who have used the keyboards for a very long time is seen as crazy and bizarre. Now, hold on. Why am I... Oh, right, I was hitting the wrong key. Ha! All this talk about being a touch typist and I was typing the wrong key, of course. Of course that would happen. I guess we'll blame that on the Lawnie curse. So at the top we've got in view, which tells us the actual letters that are on the playing field, just in case things get too cluttered. Thank you, Tommy, that's great. But the problem with this emulation is that it can only take in so much keyboard input at the same time. This is a common thing with DOS games from that era. Sometimes they would not be programmed to take in multiple inputs, or it might be an emulation thing. You can ask the DOSBox devs about that, though they'll probably tell you to go jump and stop asking stupid questions. I've never actually spoken to a DOSBox developer before, believe it or not. And we've looped around to 5 and 6 and so on. So 100 hits, 100 kills. Is there a pause? I don't think so. There is a quit button. Thank you, Tommy. I'll take advantage of that. Alright, so the quit button also acts as a pause button. So that is Tommy's silo. Fantastic. There are other options there, like sprint, P-beam, and instructions, and paral, which of course stands for parallax shading. No, maybe not. But yeah, Tommy's silo, what is it? You know what, in terms of Tommy's games I've played, that's right up there with his grand strategy one. Honestly, this wasn't too bad. It was a simple sort of learn where the letters are on the keyboard in order to play a really poor version of Missile Command. Not too bad. You know, it's one of those concepts and designs that's so well done and well thought through that even somebody like Tommy can't mess it up. So yeah, Tommy's Silo. I wouldn't play it again because there are better typing games out there. I've already played through a number of them. But this wasn't like pulling teeth and it wasn't terrible. So, excellent by Tommy's standards. And if you like me talking about random DOS games, I do it all the time. So do the other guys. Feel free to take a look at our videos on the channel. If you like what you see there, you can always subscribe. I was expecting excruciating pain, and there isn't any. That's positive in my books. Until next time.